All right, so welcome everyone. It's good to see you. So as you know, this week it's all about attention. The topic of this week is attention, and today's topic in particular is as attention shapes yourself and your life. So, how comes that attention shapes ourselves? It's pretty simple, actually. What you focus on right now, in this very moment, determines your experience. Right? It determines what you will think about, it determines what you will feel. In conclusion, it determines how you will act. And your actions then determine the results, which lead usually to further actions, further thoughts, further feelings, and so forth. All in accordance with whatever you're paying attention to. Yeah. So if you're paying attention to, let's say, a negative trait of yourself, then your experience is going to be predominantly negative. Maybe it's governed by dislike or hate or anger. And so your feelings will be in accordance with these angry reflections, and we call that an emotion. You have feelings and thoughts and physical states all mixed up together, and you have an emotion. And these emotional states, they then determine how you act. Action can be threefold. You can act in thought, you can act in speech, you can act physically, in the physical world. All three have according results on their own plane. If you're acting in thought, then the results are thought-based. If it just stays in the plane of thought, then the results and the causes are always on the plane of just thought. It's just mental experiences. They're not yet expressed. If it comes on the verbal plane, if you start to actually express your thoughts and feelings verbally, then it has much more impact in this world already. It's not just subtle stuff anymore that you could easily let go of. It's become much more condensed now. Right? If you have said something, it's almost like an arrow you shot. You can't just go after the arrow and get it back after you shot it. You said it. Right? It's much more dense now. The repercussions of what we say are then on the realm of speech most of the time. It depends then what happens after that, right? It can develop even further into physical action. Either the act of generosity, giving someone something, or the act of violence, taking something from someone. Yeah. Your gestures, the way you articulate yourself in your body, showing someone the middle finger or something like this, it can have repercussions in the physical realm. And it's not just kind of nicely and neatly divided like that. It's always really mixed, one leading to the others. It's like three rivers. If they come into one river, you can't separate them from one another, really. You can't say that's the water of the left river, that's the water of the middle river. Yeah, it mixes up. And similarly, our speech, our actions, our thoughts, they're usually pretty mixed and messed up. So it takes a while to gain enough clarity to actually notice what's going on inside of yourself at the very base of any action, on the level of just thought, or just intention, or just attention. And a very good way here is to just notice where your attention currently dwells. Where's my attention right now? What do I pay attention to? For example, as I speak right now, if I would pay attention to the thoughts, oh my God, I hope I say the right thing, it will immediately have an impact on the way I feel, and this will have immediately an impact on the way I talk. And this will have an immediate impact on the way you perceive me as well. on all three levels. Maybe you see me sitting here looking relatively confident, but something kind of feels fishy. That guy is somehow strange. He doesn't really seem fully aligned with what he says. Sometimes you have these feelings, right, about someone. Is that 100% honest, or is it just pretense? We can tell pretty easily if we learn to listen to our intuition. You can tell very easily if someone is just talking, or if there is authenticity behind it, if there's a certain realness behind it, because of the way we direct our attention. It completely changes the way you feel, the way you think, has an immediate outcome. So we can also say it immediately gives your life a direction. I would even say that who you are right now, that's your direction. That's your future. It's a perfect kind of mirror image of your future. What kind of state of mind are you in right now? Well, that's your direction. And you could also say that's your responsibility then. As soon as you notice that, we all want to be happy, right? Nobody wants to suffer. We all want to feel good. And if we notice, wow, I can actually correct my course. If I notice that I'm currently on a track that goes into unpleasant land, then I can change my course. But there has to be first mindfulness, right? You have to first notice, oh, my attention is dwelling on something that's painful. And it creates a painful direction right now. And that's pretty cool, because it gives you choice. It makes you, in ways you can say, it makes you a designer of life. Then you can bring your attention to things that are actually useful, such as a solution, instead of constantly banging your head against the problem. There's a problem, okay, yes, there's a problem. Complaining doesn't solve it. A certain action would solve it, and that can only arise when there's appropriate attention. If we pay attention to the right things. If we are in a relationship and we pay attention to the faults and flaws of our husband or wife, then that's exactly going to be your experience in that moment. And then you will act from that, creating more direction like this. In Buddhism, there's a word for that. We call it unskillful. Because it does not match with what we actually want. We want to be happy, yet we act in ways that create misery. Doesn't make any sense, right? Why would we do it? Why would we hurt ourselves continuously? Answer is simple, because we don't know what we are doing. Have you heard of Jesus? Yes, probably most of you have heard of Jesus. Did you know what he uttered when he was tortured on the cross? Forgive them, because they do not know what they do. Yep, that's all of us. We don't know what we're doing to ourselves. Literally, we have no awareness of ourselves, no self-reflection. We're not aware of our own state of mind as we go through life. And that would make a crucial difference. Being aware of the repetitive patterns that go through our minds. Here is what I continuously do to myself, day in, day out, day in, day out. Here are my predominant habitual states. Making them visible is the first step to recovery, whatever states it is that you suffer from. Could be anything. Sadness, grief, worry, despair, fear, hope, you name it. The first step is awareness, becoming aware of what's going on right now. That's already great. Instead of just without any awareness, without any mindfulness, just indulging in those states and then rolling along with those states, creating all kinds of according directions in life. And it has a physical impact even. If you're continuously sad, has an impact on your body, on your cells, on your everything. It creates even direction in your body, your emotional states, your mental states. You could go as far and say that you basically, with the state that you feel right now, with the state that you're in mentally, you're to a certain degree actually shaping your physical body. You're giving information to your cells as to how to reproduce, as to how your physical shape matches with your emotion and all that. How you feel is a very physical thing, isn't it? You don't feel sadness behind your body somewhere. You feel it in the body. That's how much direction there's in it. It immediately manifests as a physical reality. Sadness, anger, the heartbeat goes up, fear, panic attack, faster breath, all that. You know all that. You can't sleep at night. What's insomnia? Insomnia is nothing but being angry at the fact that you can't sleep. And it's the anger that keeps us awake. It's anger. Dislike. Dislike is just a facet of anger. Not liking something, being in resistance to something. I'm awake, I shouldn't be awake. How do I get back to sleep? Damn it, I'm still awake. I shouldn't be awake. How do I get back to sleep? That's what's keeping us awake. In fact, insomnia, you could say, is just simply someone wanting to sleep. Someone trying to be in control over sleep. And you find out you're not in control over it. Because why not? Because we don't know what we're doing to ourselves. If we knew, we could immediately stop and go to sleep. But we don't know. Because we don't look. Instead, what do you do when you have insomnia? Maybe you look into your phone. And you know what that does to you if you look into your phone? What kind of hormones that releases? Staring into a screen? What happens with your melatonin when you're looking at a screen at night? What does it suggest to your brain? Ooh, light. Oh, okay, I guess it's time to work then. And then you Google, how do I get rid of this damn insomnia? Best advice would be just turn off your phone and breathe. And allow yourself to be awake. Because now you're awake. It's the truth. You're awake. It's the truth. It's as simple as that. And if you make peace with the truth, you can go back to sleep. It's so funny. So many people come to the retreats and they say they suffer from insomnia. And as soon as we sit down and we do some meditation, they fall right asleep. Why? Because now they don't want to sleep. They want to stay awake. But at the same time they relax. It's meditation, right? So you relax. And so the body immediately catches up on what it has lost at night. It's the mental agenda. If we could just see what we do to ourselves when we are in a state of insomnia, when we can't go to sleep. All it takes is a good, long, sustained look at our mind. And we usually don't do it. We usually distract ourselves, right? We do all kinds of things like reading books, walking around, turning on the light, getting some work done. I'm awake, so I might as well, whatever. All because the attention goes away from ourselves to things, to stuff, continuously. And you know what I include in the realm of things and stuff? I would include emotions in there and thoughts. It's things and stuff. It's content. It's just stuff. And we can get really invested in it and really caught up in it. And the more we're caught up in it, the more we suffer it. The less we're caught up, the more at ease. The more free, you can say. So that's what we practice with meditation. First of all, we practice to become aware of what your attention does day in and day out. Because it gives you a good idea of where you're heading. And once you know that, you can start shaping yourself by paying attention to things that matter to you, that actually get you where you want to be. You want to be more happy? What could you focus on right now that makes you more happy? You need to use your attention for that. What could you pay attention to make yourself a bit more happy? What about gratitude? What are you grateful for? That's just a movement of attention. Gratitude is nothing but putting your attention to things you appreciate. It is a skillful way of directing your attention. And that's a difference. Being directed by your wild, uncontrolled attention versus directing your attention. That's why many people feel like they are controlled by their mind. And they kind of are helpless in that. I don't know what I do, you know. My mind is telling me to do things. Sorry, honey, what I said I didn't want to say because, you know, I wasn't being myself. It's this kind of stuff. Yeah, we do things because we don't know what's going on. If we knew, it would very much appear like, here have this very nice looking, fantastic smelling food which is poisoned. Would you still eat it? No, because now there is awareness. You know the direction of it. And so you don't engage it. There's no more interest in it. If I get angry, I know already, I know where that takes me. And expressing that, I know where that takes me. So I drop it.
Yeah, but it's not that simple. It's not like you know at every second. You know it, and then you just forget it.
Yes, it's not simple.
You cannot know every second. I mean, you can, but it's very...
You can. It's a matter of training, right? As I always say, can you do 500 push-ups now? No. Can you do one? Good. Keep doing one. And one day you will end up being able to do 500. It's that idea when we say, it's not easy. We actually have this huge imagination of what we should be able to do, and then we compare of what we are able to do. And we say, doesn't match. I should be enlightened, but I am super deluded. Enlightenment must be very difficult. Because there is this gap between our fantasy of the desired state and our actual fact, reality state. So I always suggest, just start where you are and do one little step. Don't even bother about many more steps. Forget them. Doesn't matter. What matters is that we do one step now. Forget the big kindness that you are able to feed 5 billion people in this world one day. That's difficult. Can you feed one person though? More easy. See, you're directing your attention to what you can rather than what you cannot. Because if you direct your attention to what you cannot, you manifest yourself as somebody that is unable. If you direct your attention to what you can, you manifest yourself as someone that is able. And what's your direction? The direction of either ability or disability. See, this is just how much attention creates yourself.
You think you really can control your thinking?
Yes, you can. What are you grateful for right now? Name one.
My family.
How does that make you feel thinking about it?
I like it comforting.
There, you just controlled your thoughts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you were thinking about something that made you feel good. So if you can choose to think about something, gives you a good feeling, there, you're already exercising control. Again, now, if you think about some amazing level of control, that's difficult, right?
If you can control sometimes, if you
Yes.
try to, but normally you are just let go your thinking. It's like all the time you cannot meditate.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sure. You cannot meditate all the time, and that's
And
not
also
a...
not control your
that's a-
thinking, or you can.
Yes.
It's possible?
Yes, it is. Can you do it now?
Yeah, but this is what I mean. If I purpose to control right now, but sometimes I try to control my own thinking to sleep.
Yes.
And it's not that it's bad thinking, but because sometimes the most of them is like I laugh on myself, like sometimes I just laughing
Yes.
before sleep.
Yes.
It's like I need to control my own thinking, I need to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Maybe try not to control and relax instead.
Yeah.
Sometimes trying to control is the problem. Yeah, quite actually almost always it's the problem, trying to control. Trying to be in control in general is very often the culprit. If we can't sleep or can't relax, you can't meditate because you try to control. Yeah, you try to, then the idea is, I can't meditate all the time. Of course not, that's also not what I advertise at all. I advertise, what can you do right now to lift your state up a little bit? Forget enlightenment. Forget amazing, profound experience. Forget it. A bit better. What kind of breathing would help you right now to feel a bit more comfy in your body? So you're directing your attention, you change your state. It's that simple.
Yeah, but it doesn't last.
Then do it again now. Do it again right now. Does it feel a bit better? If not really, what could you do?
Mentioning it right now, and we're here, we're surrounded by this energy.
Yes.
See, for someone that doesn't meditate on a constant basis like myself, for me to get to that state, it's not like if I were to take a deep breath and just feel better instantly.
Yes. So what could you do to feel a little bit better? What could you do? Maybe it's not breathing, maybe it's something else.
An exercise.
Cool, then do that. You see, I do not...
It's like 11 p.m., you're in bed, trying to go to bed, can't go and do an exercise.
So what can you do?
We're trying to figure that out.
Exactly. And that requires that you direct your attention skillfully and stay to learn, to find out how you work. That requires that you need to pay some attention to yourself. And then, please, again, guys, I don't say meditate 11 hours every day. I don't. Honestly, I don't. I don't meditate 11 hours. I meditate a few times every day, a little bit. But my predominant practice is when I walk, I remind myself sometimes, oh, I'm walking. And then I relax right there. And it's enough for me. I've given up trying to walk the enlightened walk. All for the rest of my whole life. No, forget it. Just now. What is a small thing that we can do just now? Just now, a small thing. Give up all the big stuff. It's too much stuff we're looking for. I'm not talking about hours. I'm not talking about days of deep practice. Forget it. A little moment right now. You want to be happy? What can you do to feel a bit better? Not a lot better. A little bit better. And then you keep doing that, right? And then the mind comes in again and says, yeah, but then I will forget it. And then I will... So your attention goes to your disability again. You notice that?
Right.
So how can you empower yourself? That's the question, right? I can always say, well, yeah, but this is a problem here, there. This is a problem then. Okay, all right, so what's the solution? So I encourage skillful solution-based thinking. That's arising when you start to watch yourself. When I watch myself, let's say I'm in a fearful state, I'm looking forward to my future and it's not looking good. Something might happen. So I get fearful. And then I go into that fear and I start to panic. and my breath gets a bit faster, I become really restless. I want to stand up, I want to move the body, I feel really uncomfortable. So what I do in this moment is I stop right there. It works for me. Might not work for you guys, but it works for me. I stop right there and take a very long, deep breath. Even though everything in my body tells me to, no, breathe fast. You need to breathe faster. It's a dangerous situation that you're in. I bring myself to breathe very long, very slow, very deep for a few times. And I really stick with that because I have learned in the past it changes the state. It puts me down to a more manageable state. I don't have these things anymore now, but I did have them before, and that's how I solved it.
So you condition yourself.
Yes.
With breathing.
Yes. So then every time the panic attack comes, I try to do the same. And then I fail. And sometimes I'm successful. And when I'm successful, I see, so what was it that worked this time? Let me try that the next time. I might even take a note. And if it doesn't work, then I look also, what didn't allow me to apply this technique here? What was in the way? I study. So I call this facet of the mind intelligence, to see what does not work and to abandon it, and to see what works and to cultivate it. And then do it little by little, step by step. Forget big events and big things and big achievements. But I think it's much better if we focus on small steps, but consistent steps. Small and really, really consistent. Again and again and again. You just eat away on it. You just dig in. You keep digging in. It just doesn't matter when you get there. What matters is you keep digging.
The push-ups you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. Same. It's a training of the mind, right? It's like a muscle. You're training a muscle. Happiness is a muscle, and you can train it. You can literally build it up to a very strong muscle. And as everything in life, it requires a certain cause. If you want to have the result, you need to put in the cause. That's what very often, particularly in modern day spirituality, is very neglected. Cause and result. Just be present. Just be yourself, whatever that means. Just be. It's all enough, It's not. There's work required. And proper work. Very refined work. Over the time, really getting to understand the mind properly. Learning to direct it. And then based on that, learning to let it go. Properly as well. Not as a philosophy or a fluffy idea. Actually letting go of your suffering. For real. Which can be put to the test. Many people, they talk about letting go of suffering, and then, they're sitting in an aircon room in a tropical paradise. They're just on holiday. It's nice and easygoing. And as soon as something comes up, there's a whole lot of suffering again. So the question is always, is it just nice circumstances right now, or are you really free? As long as we have nice circumstances, we all certainly do, we're very privileged compared to the vast majority in this world. We're very, very privileged to have the time even to just sit down like this together. That already shows we're doing really well, actually. But then if a slight thing happens and there is suffering inside of yourself and you see it very clearly, now here's where the work comes in. The work is, how can I direct my attention? This is the most basic work. To transform the situation. You see the peacock feathers up there? It's a very old Buddhist symbol. Why peacock feathers? The peacock is known to eat very poisonous plants and snakes and so forth. So, for example, it eats a Himalayan wolfsbane, which is one of the most poisonous plants on this earth. And legend has it, or like the ancient kind of medicines they have it, they say that it's due to this poison that the peacock ingests that the feathers become particularly shiny and shimmery and radiant. And so in Buddhism they use this symbol to tell us that we can transform adversities into medicine, into beauty, into something good. And that's requiring a good use of attention. And learning how to utilize our attention properly, taking charge, actually, of our life experience, if you will, is a very powerful thing to do. It's a very sensible thing to do. And we all can do it. Again, I'm not saying 24/7, but maybe a little bit at the beginning. And then, like any skill, grow it. And if you do this consistently every day, like let's say if your happiness is really important to you, and I think it is, then why not invest energy in it? And why not invest energy in it directly, not indirectly? Most of the things we do in our life is an indirect investment in happiness. Let's say, first the car. The car is supposed to make me feel like, fill in the blank. We're looking for a feeling, not a piece of metal. We're not looking for money. We're looking for the feeling that it's supposed to give us. We're not looking for relationships. We're looking for the feeling that the relationship is supposed to give us. And it's a feeling that we're looking for. A feeling of comfort, happiness, safety, security, whatever. What if you could feel that way now? By directing your attention appropriately. And thus, you take charge of the direction in your life, and you're heading there from the inside out, not from the outside in. It's a completely different concept than a consumer society, right? In a consumer society, it's about consuming and producing, about putting something to yourself, adding something to yourself to seemingly add value. You only need to add a lot of stuff. The result is going to be happiness. You add the right experiences and you'll be fine. Just maybe you haven't found the right experiences yet. You just need to keep adding stuff. Eventually, hopefully it works. But it never lasts, of course, right? As you correctly observed. These things don't last. So the question is, how can I experience a more lasting state of happiness? Something is a bit more fulfilling. Where is that happiness? Where can I find it? Well, it's where we mostly don't look, actually. Because it's nothing to do with adding on to myself. Happiness is not something you can add on to yourself. Because it's not outside of yourself. So it's not some sort of experience that meditation will magically give you. Just a few more hours of meditation and bing, you're happy. And it'll last forever. No. But it's more like the more you let go of all the crap that doesn't allow you to be happy, the happier you get. You're born a little baby. You have no political views. You have no ideas about what's good and bad, right and wrong. You're just there. And slowly you learn, and you're filled with all kinds of stuff. And then the end result, we call it an adult. Right? And then we're there with all our burden, which is just thought-made stuff. And if you look into this world, then it is expression of thought-made problems. What's a war other than that? Other than an expression of a thought-made problem.
Excuse me, but how can you be happy when there's so much suffering in the world? How can you be perfectly happy?
Yeah. By, first of all, intending it.
Because you can't change everything.
Yes, that's the thing, right? The old idea that happiness is outside of yourself and suffering comes into you from outside of you is not true. Happiness comes outside of you and suffering comes outside of you as a response to the world. If you know that, you can change.
Say that again?
Happiness and suffering come outside of you as a response to the world. It's not that it's in the world out there and it's been poured into you. It's more that this is the way we relate to the world. That's called suffering. For example, we could relate to the world with kindness. Small kindness maybe. And more kindness. You could also relate to the world from a perspective of, as you just mentioned, what a mess. In both ways, you're directing your attention in very specific ways, and the result is, what a mess. Oh God, how can I be happy if the world is like this? Fortunately, your happiness is independent of the world.
Yeah.
And so meditation is all about finding it.
I'm working on that.
Yeah, that's it. We all do. And I think it's a sensible thing to do, to actually work on the right place. If you want to be happy, it makes sense to go to the place where happiness is. And it's inside of you. This is quite obvious actually, but it's not really. We're still looking for validation and acceptance and the right kind of surroundings so that I can be happy. If the world only was full of Tobis, it'll be all good. Right?
I feel guilty being happy when there's so much suffering.
Yes, that's a condition. You've learned this. The baby isn't born like that again.
No.
We learn this. Yes. I've learned it too. You know, for example, when I was younger, I was living with my grandmother, and if I didn't finish my plates, immediately guilt trip. Think of the children in Africa that are starving and you're not finishing your plate. Shame on you. Okay, I eat, and I got really sick, of course, yeah. Great. This is a fantastic way of...
Smash in the first place. I mean, she probably just overfed you.
Yeah, maybe. The thing is, we learn certain ways of feeling from when we were young. And these ways of feeling, they're just creeping in all the time and get more and more solidified as our life goes on. And then we think that that's me. No, it's not really. It's just stuff you have learned to identify with. Whether it's a way of thinking, a way of feeling, and so forth. And so true freedom is freedom from all these conditions. And that's what we're working on with meditation practice. And the first step is awareness, becoming aware. All right now there's guilt. Let's have a look at this. Not from the perspective of thinking it through, but just observing it. Just feeling it, noticing it. How does it move? What causes it? Where does it go when it fades? Your guilt will not stay, it will fade. And you can watch it fade. It's a very cool thing. You can watch your anger fade. Because you know you will not have that anger for the rest of your life. Right now, I'm angry. Look at it. I'm crying, I'm very sad. You'll not stay crying for the rest of your life. You can watch it fade. And you can learn from it as you watch. That's a learning that's not based on thought, thinking everything through, figuring everything out, being very clever. But it's a learning from awareness, learning through observing, through paying attention, through appreciating. You can say, your human beingness, which includes all kinds of stuff. And everything is an opportunity to open you up and to learn and to go deeper and to understand and to grow. And as you do so, more and more happiness ideally is the case, yes. Otherwise, what's the point? If we suffer more and more as a result of our meditation practice, there's something wrong. Become more and more serious, and that's not it. If your heart becomes more and more light, you're good, you're on the right track. If your actions become more and more kind, good. Now you're making that difference in the world that we're all waiting for. Right? It's this cheesy kind of saying, like, be the difference. Right? Be this beautiful human being that you would like to see in this world. What kind of person would you like to have around yourself? Be that person to another. Be kind, attentive, appreciative, understanding, forgiving. Need to come off our high horse, direct our attention off our high horse, and understand we're all human beings. We're all trying exactly the same. We're all trying to be happy. Nobody wants to suffer. Let's try to figure this out, right? And it starts with attention, how you direct it. And it starts in simple ways. I say it one more time because it's super important. Not 24/7, not months of deep meditative reflection. Now. A little bit. Consistently. Because your happiness is important to you. And not only to yourself. It is also important for others around you. If you are happy, you become a gift to everybody around you. If you're unhappy and miserable and tense, then the opposite is the case. Right? So we'll need to learn to relax, to take it easy, to open the heart, be kind, understand ourselves, most of all be sincere, to really, really know what's going on right now in my own mind. Does that make a world a better place? Is this a good direction? The practice is very basic, very simple. And it requires just only dedication and consistency. Repetition of what's good, what's blissful. It's common sense, really. And these talks, they are designed, the purpose of these talks is to fire you guys up, to create an energy, to make you motivated. They'll not solve your problems, but they'll motivate you. I'm motivating myself right now. Talking about these things, it is motivating for me. If it wasn't, I would waste my time in some way. What am I doing, right? Just repeating some stuff that I've heard before. I do this to motivate myself. And hopefully it spills over in some way and helps you to make happiness central in your pursuits. Real happiness. And everything else is a result of it. Okay? That's anyways everything that comes to mind for today. Are there any questions?